Hi guys, so I'm going to talk to you about my labour of my baby boy. He was born on 30th of April. I know it's May now and I'm only just getting around to doing it. Because Simon had 2 weeks off as paternity. We were trying to aim for him to have it obviously when baby boy was home, but he decided, our baby boy decided to arrive 11 weeks early, guys. So let's start from the beginning of what happened really. So on Friday the 26th of April, we came back from Scotland early in the morning. I went to the toilet when we obviously got back, and I had some brown discharge. And kept an eye on it, went to bed, because obviously I need to get some sleep. Because I'm going to be up early in the morning with Robbie, because he slept the majority of the way back from Scotland. Anyway, and then when I woke up, I had more discharge, and it was like red. Didn't really think much of it at the time, until later on I'd rang mum up to find out if it was normal. She was like, oh no, I'd gone to the toilet. No, I rang mum up, asked her, she said ring up your midwife. So I rang up the labour ward, obviously that's where you have to ring after 22 weeks, because at this point I was over 29 weeks. They said to come in. So we ran mum back up and she came to look after Robbie for me while me and Simon went up to the hospital. I went to the toilet while I was waiting for mum and I wiped and it was like bigger discharge. Showed mum and she went, yeah, that's definitely your mucus, that could be your mucus plug. So I went up to the hospital, got checked out, showed them the picture as well, and I was admitted to hospital because obviously they said, yeah, that's your mucus plug. And because I was only 29 weeks pregnant that day, they wanted to keep me in because obviously baby would be early and things like that. So then I had to go up to a ward, obviously where I was going to be kept. Kept getting obviously monitored to check on baby to make sure he was alright. And then Saturday morning I woke up and I was in pain. I was in pain from roughly about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was. Kept waking up and really bad pain, like lower my stomach. Sorry guys. So I kept monitoring it on my phone in my notes section, kept writing every time I had pain, and then at 6:10 I felt a really big... No, my pain started on Friday when I went up to the ward, because that's when I monitored it. So from like roughly 9:20 on the Friday night I was getting pain. So that's when I was monitoring it on my phone to keep an eye on how often the pains would come in and things like that. I monitored it all the way through the night because I kept waking up during the night with pain. And then at 6:10 on Saturday morning I felt a really gush of water, just gush. So I kept monitoring it, the pains, and then when the midwife, after they did the switch around and the day midwife came to, or the midwife came to see me. I told her, so she looked at my pad. Luckily I had she says, yeah, this is definitely your waters. So then I wasn't allowed home because obviously my waters had broke, but they did say that they can regenerate, but they never did. Obviously, I think this was my back waters at the time. The water on the baby was still there. All day Saturday I was having pain, so I got sent down to labour ward because I needed one-to-one care, one-to-one, because I was in that much pain, thinking that the baby was coming and the pains were getting closer. Nothing happened. Then I got sent back up to the ward again. Sunday, all through Saturday night, or Saturday day, I had pains, and then Saturday night the pains had just stopped. Sunday the pains had stopped, so I was thinking, they'll let me go home because obviously the pains have stopped and nothing else is happening. They said, we'll go keep you in tonight, and then obviously tomorrow, if everything's still okay, you can go home. But Monday morning, the pain started again. It started off really not too bad, and then it got worse and worse. I had to they gave me 2 paracetamol about breakfast time, which would have been about 8 o'clock. Honestly, I think at some point Simon came up. I can't remember what time he came up. And then I'm trying to think. The pains were getting a bit stronger. He kept saying to me, do I want any more painkillers? I was like, no, I'm trying to do this myself. And at this point I was now sat on the birthing ball because it was the only thing that would help with the pain. And then the pains were getting stronger after dinner. And they monitored me, they checked me out. I think after tea, the doctor came round and saying that I was 3 centimetres dilated and 1 centimetre thick. So then they rang down to the labour ward, told them, and I got sent down there. And obviously at that time I was being monitored, making sure baby was fine. And obviously they ran the neonatal unit as well because obviously he was going to be prem. It was too early birthing. They came to see me when I walked down to the labour ward. Before then I had to go for a scan to make sure baby was fine. But the ultrasound lady was not happy with the ward staff making me walk down because she said that your trousers were roughly soaking wet, because from leaving the ward to going down I was having more discharge. They weren't too bad, but they were very wet at the top. Luckily I had a long top on so you couldn't really see it, but she checked baby over. Baby's head was fully engaged in my pelvic bone because she had to dig in right in there to check the baby's head size. She said the baby was measuring roughly £2 1 ounce. But that was a roughly guess estimate really for them. But there's still water around the baby. But she said that she's going to when the ring up to the ward that I was on, they were going to make sure they bring a wheelchair for me to be wheeled up, because she said she's not happy that I had to walk down. Even Simon said that I was surprised they made you walk down. Obviously losing. Sorry about that, mum rang. Yeah, so obviously then I was wheeled back up to the ward. Changed, got myself all fresh and clean again. And then I had my dinner first. Then my scan was at 1:30, and then just relaxed, and obviously I was keep getting more pain. Simon was timing him on his, or doing like a time on his phone or stopwatch, and just kept pressing lap, obviously when I was having pains, to keep monitoring him. And they were getting stronger and stronger, and he kept saying to me, do I want tablet, anything, any pain relief? I was like, no. So then I got checked over. I can't remember if I had tea up in the ward or what. I can't remember if I had tea on the ward or if I didn't have tea that night. I can't remember. I think I had tea on the ward. And then not long after tea, my pains were getting stronger, so they called the doctor to come and check me over. That's when I found out I was 3 centimetres dilated and 1 centimetre thick. And I was being monitored, obviously, with the heartbeat of baby. And then I got sent down to the labour ward, and they said that I'd go down there because I needed more of a one-to-one person, and they didn't really have enough staff up on the ward to do that, whereas they did on the labour ward, they said. So I went down there, and one of the midwives said, if you want to keep this baby in, then you shouldn't have been on the birthing bowl. And I was like, well, no one told me that I shouldn't have been on the birthing bowl. It helped with my pain. She said you should be on bed rest. And then I was hooked up to the monitor. I had to stay on the bed. Then the neonatal lady came round to tell me what was going to happen with baby once he's born. And all things like that. And then they asked me if I wanted any pain relief. I said gas and air, because that's all I wanted was gas and air. Because in Robbie's pregnancy, labour, I had to gas and air. That made me feel really lightheaded and fell on the collapsed on the floor. So I had the epidural, which didn't work because it was too late. But anyway, I just wanted the gas and air. I was laid on the bed. They gave me the gas and air. I felt a bit lightheaded, and it was luckily I was laid on the bed because this is all I wanted was the gas and air. It helped me. Then they said, when they came in to see me, Simon said, she was having a lot of pains and a lot of contractions every so many minutes and all this lot. They went, oh, it's not picking up on the monitor, so we'll move it a bit to see. And then they didn't believe me that I was having these contractions and things like that. And then at roughly, we said to them about him, and they said, well, the doctor's coming around about 10:15. They'll come and check you over. If nothing's happening, you can go back. You'll be going back up on the ward, because they still didn't believe me that I was having these contractions. Well, before they came round, obviously, I was having a contraction when the midwife walked in, and it still wasn't picking up on the monitor. And Simon said, well, she's been like this now for half an hour, and all this lot. And so she said, right, I think I'll go change the wire just in case if it's the one that picks up your contractions on. She got a new one, and then she'd gone. I was having a contraction, and then so she came back in after quite a bit of time. She said, oh, what's all this? And she said, so you are having contractions, and we would have faulty wire. And it was like, no, I thought I'd just draw on the lines. It's like they didn't believe me that I was having contractions, and I got told when I'm down to labour ward, I'd have a one-to-one care, one-to-one person with me all the time. But no, I didn't. I did roughly during the day bit. From 6:30 I went down there till obviously they changed over for the nighttime stuff. I had somebody with me all the time there. But once the nighttime staff, that was it. I roughly obeyed for a bit. with it for quite some time. And then when she saw that I was having the contractions, she called down the nurse. I was supposed to have got checked out at 10:15, and I didn't get checked out until about 11. When they checked me over, I was 7 to 8 centimetres and I was fully dilated. Not 1 centimetre thick these days, I was roughly open. So then I was kept on thing, and they said, do I want any strong painkillers? And I was like, no thank you. So probably from 11 o'clock till 2:30, I was in a lot, or 2:10 should I say, a lot of pain. The pain was getting worse. Sam said I sounded like a cat at times because apparently I was going, ow, 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 ow. I can't remember. But I did say to Simon, obviously, when the baby's head was really engaged and it's obviously ready to be pushed out, I kept saying to Simon, I can't do this, I can't do this. He kept saying, yes, you can. I'm proud of you, and all this slap. And then the midwife had to break my water around the baby because obviously I was now ready to be pushed. They checked me over because obviously I was prem. The doctor had to check me over. The midwife couldn't do it because obviously I was prem, or the baby was prem. And I was getting these more pains. She witnessed even more of the pains because at this point now, then she stayed with me. One other midwife came in and she says, well, am I allowed to check her over? So she's in active labour. And midwife went, yeah, because now she's in active labour, you can actually check her. They checked me over and I was 10 centimetres. And they said to me, when you want to push, let me know. Because at this point, the baby was ready to come. Then they rang up the neonatal unit, and obviously before this time they had heated up the bed ready for the baby when he had arrived early. So then they came down, sorted out what they needed to do, and obviously waiting for the baby. So when she was pop my waters, that one's around baby, she said, what's this? Oh, it's a little hand. And the baby had his hand around her finger. And then when he came out hand first and going, like waving, like Superman. So then obviously it was boom. They sorted him out on the bed at first, or what they needed to do. Obviously cut his umbilical cord. Then they transferred him over to the warm bed, which there would have been transferred then into the NICU. But anyway, they put a bag around him to keep him warm. Did everything they needed to do here before they transferred him to the NICU. Sam managed to take a picture, but I'm not going to show you them pictures until he's home, because I'm going to do him from the time he was born until the time he comes home in the NICU of what he was like. So obviously that won't be up until, obviously, like I say, he's home. But anyway, then he went past me and I was like, oh, I just wanted to cuddle him, but obviously they couldn't because he was too early, and they needed to take him down to the NICU, take him across to the NICU to be sorted out. And then obviously they had to deliver the placenta. That was problems coming out because obviously being prem, it does take a bit of time. I had to go eventually sit on the toilet to push it out, and it came eventually. So yeah, my baby boy was born at 2:10 on the 30th of April 2019. I'm not saying his name yet because I want to try and do a name reveal for you guys. I don't know when that will be up yet. Probably near the time when he comes home or something. I don't know. But yeah, and then obviously 2 hours later, when they had sorted out baby boy in the NICU, got him all settled, all the things that they needed to do, I went down to see him. dancing, went across, it was just roughly the labour ward, walked down the hallway, through a door, and obviously at the NICU. Because obviously it's got to be close to the labour ward for when the NICU babies come. But yeah, I was so proud of myself that I was only on gas and air roughly from, I think, 6:30 when we went down to the labour ward. And I was quite pleased with myself, that's all I stuck with. So yeah, that is my labour story of the birth of my baby boy. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.